Hey guys, it's Germ. I wanted to make a quick video today telling you 5 things that I love about the 2.7 liter pre-refresh engine. Most of this, actually all this, will still apply to the high output engine, but I wanted to specifically talk about the things I love about this particular engine. I know I've got another video that says 5 things that I hate about my 2.7 liter TurboMax, and some of those things aren't actually about the engine, it's about the truck. And so let's talk specifically about, after almost 73,000 miles, what do I love about this 2.7 liter? Stick around. All right, number one, the first thing that I loved about this engine whenever I test drove one of these pre-refresh LTDs was I love the power delivery. It's just like right off idle, feels very diesel-like, and you'll hear people say that. You've heard me say that before, and it's really true. The power on this truck is by no means the most powerful. It's not a 6.2 liter V8. It has less horsepower than the 5.3 liter V8, but the power delivery comes in at such a low RPM, it's like instant torque. Even though this particular engine only has 356 pound-feet of torque or something like that, most of it's available at like 1500 RPM. It's really hard to beat that. And I know what I'm talking about whenever it comes to 6.2s because there's one right there. That truck, that is a very stout engine. 6.2 liter is nothing to sneeze at. But the 2.7 liter that's in Silva is the one that I trust to tow the camper that you can see in frame right here. I'm not pulling with that particular vehicle, mostly because of the capabilities of this platform. I love the power delivery at such a low RPM. It is amazing. Now, I know that diesel guys are going to come on here and maybe say, well, if you love that on a 2.7 liter, you're going to love a diesel. And you know what? I'm not going to dispute that a bit. I think that diesels are absolutely fantastic. A couple weeks ago, I actually test drove one of the Rams with the Cummins engine, 6.7 liter. Whew, that's a different experience. But I love the power delivery, how smooth that it comes on in the 2.7 liter, and I love that it's real consistent, almost flat. I'll try to drop in a graph of the power band right here if I can find one again. The 2.7 liter pre-refresh and TurboMax 2.7 post-refresh have a little bit different of a torque curve. I'll try to drop both of them in here if we can. They're both pretty flat though, pretty amazing. And so pulling this trailer, I just love to let Silva work against it, and I set it about 62 miles an hour, even accelerating onto the interstates or highways, entrance ramps, that sort of thing. The power is just so good. And it's just smooth. If you just hammer it though, here's the thing. If you just hammer the throttle and just like foot to the floor, and you're expecting performance like the I'm pointing to our 6.2 liter, you're not going to get that V8 power once you hit the higher RPM. You're going to get more diesel-like power at a lower RPM. So make sure that you put that expectation if you're going to use this truck to work. You need it to work 1500 to like 35, 4000 RPM. That's where it really's happy. If you're above 4500 RPM, you need to lower your speed down just a little bit and really stay in the power band, okay? 9,200 pounds. This truck is maxed out whenever we're towing. Does great. As long as you keep in mind the power delivery, the power torque curve, the power band, where it's happy, and keep it where it's happy, it'll work just fine. Second point I want to make is why most people are looking at the base engine. I bought this engine strategically because I wanted the towing performance. I wanted the low RPM that we just talked about in the previous point. But most people are looking at this engine for one of 2 reasons. It's the base entry level to get into a Silverado or a Sierra. But they're also concerned about the miles per gallon. Let me tell you, if you're hunting one of these trucks because you're interested in the miles per gallon, you will not find, in my opinion, a better offering from GM. These vehicles right here with a 6.2 liter and the 5.3, they can do pretty good at miles per gallon. My wife's is a 4-wheel drive, 6.2 liter, and on the same trips, we're within a couple MPGs out on the interstate. The difference is around town. As long as I'm driving these the same, this truck is going to get about 13 miles per gallon, her Escalade with the 6.2 liter and 4-wheel drive, while Silva is going to get about 18. So if you're in the market for miles per gallon, this is a winner, as long as you're not a hot rodder. Now if you're a hot rodder, you're not going to get good gas mileage. This is a turbo, and whenever you hear that little turbo spool up, you can forget miles per gallon. They're out the window. Kind of reminds me of the old EcoBoost saying that people had whenever Ford put out the 3.5 liter EcoBoost in the F-150s in 2011. They said you can either have Eco or you can have Boost. No truer words have ever been said. If you want economy out of your 2.7, and this is really pre-refresh or post-refresh, you need to take it easy. Roll on the throttle, do the whole egg underneath your foot kind of technique. But there's a couple other things if you want to maximize your miles per gallon, and I've hit like 25 and a half with this truck multiple times. I've done multiple 500-mile tanks out of this truck. And it's a 24-gallon gas tank. And I credit that to the technology in the 2.7 liter and the fact that this is a two-wheel drive truck. So it's two-wheel drive with street tires on it, aired up to the PSI that the door sticker has on it. This truck can knock down some serious highway miles. And of course, that's being reasonable with your speed, all of those things. As long as you do your part, the truck will deliver on MPGs. Now, if you're in a whole lot of stop and go, you're just doing normal driving, or you're hot rodding from red light to red light because you want to hear that turbo spool up, you're not going to get good miles per gallon. People come on this channel and say, I don't believe that this truck can get that kind of miles. You're a liar. And I say, well, it depends on how you're driving it. Here's the other thing that's going to kill your miles per gallon, and it's killed it on Silva. If you upgrade to LTE tires and you put on a mud terrain or an all-terrain tire, you're going to lose a couple miles per gallon. That's just the way it is. A heavier tire is going to cost you some MPGs. Silva's averaging about 18 with the tires that I have on it right now. So I put these tires specifically on Silva whenever the other tires needed to be replaced, because we tow the big camper. Remember, I didn't buy this truck for MPGs. I bought this truck because of its torque curve and towing capability, 9,200 pounds. And whenever I saw the torque curve after I test drove it, I said, that's exactly what I want. I put on Nitto Recon Grappler ATs, Load Range E, and this is a LT 275/60 R20, which is the factory size. Looks really good on the two-wheel drive. I wanted the all-terrain tires because some of the campgrounds that we get into are pretty muddy, and we live in the country and we still need good traction at times. People are going to say you should have bought a four-wheel drive. Listen, it was a good deal. I tend to drive two-wheel drives, even hunting and stuff like that. I just never try to get myself into a situation where I really need four-wheel drive. Steph's Cadillac that we bought is four-wheel drive, not because we chose it as four-wheel drive, but because that's what came with the truck. If the good deal would have been there and it had 4x4, I'd have bought it anyway. So that was number 2, fuel economy. Great. All right, guys, the third thing that I love about this particular engine is the design of the engine. Yes, it's 4 cylinders. I've got a video talking about we need to stop counting cylinders right here, because this engine has completely changed the whole 4-cylinder, 6-cylinder thing. Just like what Ford did whenever they put that 3.5 EcoBoost in the F-150, and it like completely shut the mouths of the people who think you can't tow with a 6-cylinder, and that sucker was able to tow 13,000 pounds. This engine has completely changed this V8 lover. I love V8s, but whenever I started researching this engine, I made some pretty amazing discoveries. There's actually a video that the engine designer, one of the lead designers on the team that put the 2.7 liter together, he made a good video. I think it's TFL Truck. I'll try to link to it in the description below. And after I saw what this truck's engine looked like after it was torture tested for so long, it's like one of the only engines GM, not the only, but one of the only engines GM's ever tested where they couldn't actually get it to fail. Whenever I saw the bearings with the barcodes on that torture tested engine, I was like, this is incredible. I've got a 350 over in my father-in-law's shop that is in pieces right now. It's been rode hard, put away wet. That old technology that I love small block Chevys, does not even compare to what this engine is designed around. This engine's designed around diesel technology, and so the bottom end on these trucks, incredibly stout. I also like several things about the AFM. Now, I'm not a fan of AFM. This truck right here has the deadly lifters with that 6.2 liter displacement on demand that are prone to fail. I understand that in the next 50 to 100,000 miles, that may be something that this truck has to deal with. I get it. I understand that. This truck also has displacement on demand. 2.7 liters will go down from a 4-cylinder to a 2-cylinder. You don't actually get an indicator on the dash, but it will do that. You don't even know it. And here's why. It's all mechanical. And of course the lifters are mechanical too. But what I mean by that is it's all done like on the cams. It's not actually a lifter that turns on and turns off like this thing that's powered by oil. It is powered by the mechanics of the engine, not by hydrodynamics or whatever. So I was real excited about that. Not overly excited because I don't like displacement on demand at all. But if you're going to do it this way. This way is a great way to do it. I've yet to find a 2.7 liter online or in person that has had an engine related fault or failure with the displacement on demand. There's been a few with turbo issues. I hate to inform you guys of this, but a turbo is a wear item. And so eventually you have to replace the turbos. If you have a turbo vehicle, eventually you have to replace it. It's a wear item. So that doesn't concern me nearly as much. I'm more concerned about the stoutness of the engine itself than having to replace the occasional turbo. I also really like the cooling system on this truck. I lived through the death cool, as we called it, Dex cool debacle, where GM had the coolant. They started changing the coolant in the cars. People didn't really understand that, and so they would mix old style green coolant with the new coolant. It'd gum up the inside of the engine. If you didn't change it regularly, it'd do that on its own. That aside, I really like the cooling system on the truck. It uses an electronic water pump, and it also uses ball valves to direct the coolant where it needs to go. So if you need coolant in the block, it's going to send coolant that way. If the heads need more coolant, it's going to send it that way. If your transmission, please listen to me, guys. You 2.7 liter guys who buy it are like, oh my gosh, it's running 190 degrees on the transmission. Yeah, it's okay, because the engine is going to keep it at that temperature. It senses that, and it sends coolant to the transmission cooler and says B200 to 220. And that's what it does. It doesn't matter if you're driving regular, if you're in traffic, or if you're driving up mountains. As long as your radiator's in good shape and your coolant is being flushed and serviced regularly, you're in good shape. So just let the truck take care of itself cooling wise. Doesn't need an aftermarket transmission cooler, doesn't need an aftermarket oil cooler. The coolers on this truck are stout. And it's so stout that whenever they first released the 2.7 liter, it had like a 7,500 pound tow rating. Well, in 2021, they said, you know what? We overbuilt the cooling system on this engine. And that's how these trucks have the 9,000 plus tow rating now. So pretty incredible if you ask me. So that's our first three reasons. And then I've got a fourth reason and then a fifth reason. So let me go look at my list and I'll be right back. The fourth thing that I love about this engine, and it goes back to the working men and women who have to budget really tight, this truck, this was my first new truck. I've had a few trucks in the past. I've had F350 dually, had 140,000 miles on it whenever I bought it. I had a 97 F150. I paid like $4,500 for that truck. It had 130,000 miles on it at the time. I've always bought trucks with well over 100,000 miles. And this truck was the first time I could buy a brand new truck and not feel like I'm destroying the household budget to buy it. So you people that are looking for a budget truck, and I know that we're just talking like $1,000, $1,500 or so difference between this truck and the next higher tier with a 5.3 liter, but you just can't beat the value proposition with this engine. Just over the life of the truck, you're going to get a vehicle that is capable of great miles per gallon. It's got a much lower acquisition cost. You can get it with a regular cab, with a long bed. I wish they would make a regular cab short bed. That'd be a lot of fun to drive. This truck is a great value. And so I'm just like all cards on the table for you guys. What brought me to the dealership whenever I bought this truck was the $39,000 price tag. I got a custom pickup truck, crew cab, with a 9,200 pound tow rating for $39,000, brand new. Of course, I bought the extended warranty and all those things, but I felt like that was a very good value, especially in 2022, whenever trucks that were similar to this were in the $50,000 range because of price gouging. One of the trucks that I was looking at was actually a 3.5 EcoBoost, and that truck had 150,000 miles on it, and they were still asking $36,000 locally. So I traveled 600 miles to Orlando, Florida. Is a place called Seminole Chevrolet down there in Sanford, I think is where it is, and that's where I picked up Silva. We were down there on vacation. I was visiting my folks, and I was just checking Auto Trader or Car Gurus or something, and that's where I first saw Silva. It didn't have the stripes on it at the time. I said I like silver, and I like the interior, and I really like that engine, that whole design, and I like the price. And so that's what led me to this particular truck. Now, whenever I got there, they had added stripes, they had added, tinted windows, and a couple other little doodads that did bump up the price a little bit. We were still at that, $39 and change price. So if you're looking for a good budget truck that you can depend on, this is one to do it. This truck will do it. And so I just wanted to share those 4 things. And I did say there's 5 things that I love about it. And here's number 5. I love how much hate this truck gets. It provides me endless entertainment. Listening to people tell me that I can't tow with a 4-cylinder, that I want to destroy it, that I want to blow it up. So for all my trolls out there that hate my channel and also hate this engine, I just want to tell you how much I love you, and thank you so much. And every now and then we gotta feed the trolls, and so this video's for you guys, just enjoy, guys. Please enjoy. I love you guys. I'm glad you're watching. This engine is provided endless entertainment online. People really like to hate on this engine, but I want to just do some math for you guys. The truck was first able to be purchased in 2018 as a 2019 model. So we got 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022. That's 5 years. 5 years it was available whenever I bought it. 2023, 2024, we're into 2025. We're starting to get into 2026. We're approaching 9 years where you could get a 2.7 liter in your hands. No systemic issues. Still, no systemic issues. So please keep on hating. The trucks just keep performing. Yeah, there's a few little oil consumption issues here and there that people talk about. Yes, she still burns about 1.5 quarts of oil between oil changes if I'm towing. Yes, it's a little noisy on startup. it is what it is. The truck's quiet, performs great, gets really good miles per gallon. So that's all I got for you guys. Let me know down in the comments if you have any other questions or observations. I'd really like to hear it. I know that there's several people on the channel that watch that own these trucks, and I like hearing your experience. We've had a couple people share some very successful stories, and some of them that have not had a great experience. So we'll try to talk about that in future videos as well, as we start hearing about a couple of these failures. These trucks are getting a lot of miles on them, and so the next video I make, I think we may just jump on Auto Trader or Car Gurus, and let's just see what the highest mileage 2.7 liter is that we can find for sale. So watch out for that video. I'll be trying to do that this week. Hey guys, I got to give you a bonus one. I can't believe that I didn't talk about this, so I'm walking in the house. I'm going to go edit this video real quick. Here's a bonus one. I love the low maintenance that truck has been. Change the oil, change the transmission fluid, change the filters every now and then. Other than the fuel injector fiasco and a broken heat shield, she's been 100% reliable. So I'll link to that little fiasco right up here. So if you guys want to check that out, it was kind of dramatic. So I'm pretty dramatic in this video up here. Y'all take care. Thank y'all so much. I hope y'all have a wonderful, wonderful day.